In this second video, looking at how to create interactive questions, we're going to look at how we build out these icons here, both the question and the answer icon, and then how we put these text boxes in, and specifically how we create the interactions so that the questions appear and disappear. So let's have a look at how we do that. The first thing I want to do is create a circle. So I'm going to go up to Insert in the ribbon bar up the top there, go across to Shapes, and then click on the oval shape there. I can pick it up there from recently used, or down here to basic shapes. So if I click on that, now the key here is to left click on the mouse and press Control at the same time, and then just drag it out, and then it will create a circle shape. By default we have a blue outline on the shape, which we don't want, so we're going to go to right click on the mouse and then go to outline and go down to no outline, and that will take that away. Just drag that down a little bit. We're just going to play with the size a little bit, so just pick up the corner there, the small circle there, and just drag that down. That will maintain its side as well if we just keep pressing Shift as well. Good. So now what we can do very simply is, once we've selected that again, we just put in a question mark, and we will select that and make that a little bit bigger, and we're nearly there, except for the fact we can see that the font's colour there is white, and we don't want that. We want it to be this blue colour here. If you remember from before, it's the same colour as the background there. So the way in which we do that, just select, and as we looked at in the first video, there's one or two ways in which we could do this. We can select the font colour here and actually go and find the particular colour in the colour palette, but one of the easiest ways of doing it is go down to the eyedropper, click the eyedropper, and then select whichever colour you want for that to become. So here obviously it's the body, the rectangle of our slide. I click on that, and that's changed now, and so that looks very consistent with the rest of our slides. Now, in order to make the answer icon, I need to just simply select that, Control C, which is copy, Control V, which is paste, and then drag that out, and I'm simply going to change the question mark to a capital A, and there we are. We've got those question and answer icons, and they're looking pretty similar to the ones that we produced before. Alright, so now let's look at how we create this question box and those interactions. So now I'm going to go up to Insert again, to the ribbon, select Shape, and then select the rectangle shape there, and just left click, just keep that held down and drag that to however you want it to be. You can play with the shape, and you can play with the sizing, etc. once you've created it. What's really brilliant about the latest version of PowerPoint, you can see we've got these lines here which help with the alignment so much. It's absolutely fantastic. And again, I want to change the colouring of this, so again I'm right clicking, fill, I don't want it to be blue, I'm going to make it white, and the border again, by default we've said we've got this blue outline. I'm going to make that a little bit thicker, so this time I go to outline and I go to weight, and I'm going to make it probably 3 points, and I want to make sure that that blue is the same as this blue. The way I do that, remember, select it, go to right click outline, select outline, again I'm going to the eyedropper and I'm picking up the border there, slightly change the colour, which is exactly what I want. Now I want to copy that box, so it's Control C, Control V, and I've got two text boxes now, and again I can line those up. We'll look at how we can, other ways, a really good way of aligning all our elements on the slide as well in due course, but that looks pretty good for now. So now we need to build in our question. Okay, so I finished typing that out. I might want to make that a little bit bigger, so I select it again, that's left click and drag across. Go to the A's there to increase or decrease size, just click a couple of times to fill the box. That's too much, so we go back, and that looks pretty good. One thing I've just noticed, if I go back to the other slide there, is that that border is consistent with that colour, whereas here it's not, so I think we're going to change that border. Again, click on it, right click, go to outline, eyedropper, and then up here that's the blue we want. And then something else we can do as well, which is really a quick time saver, is I want the same formatting for this one here. So I've selected that. If I go up to Format Painter there, select Format Painter, you can see you've got a paintbrush there with the arrowhead, and I just click anywhere on that element and it will change it. What that also means though is that the font size is going to be the same. So let's just see how we go here. So if I write in humorous, you can see that the colors change, which is a great time saver for us, but I need to change the font size again, make that a little bit bigger, because obviously that's the answer. Okay, so if I look at what I've done before to what I've done here, then we're looking pretty good. Okay, in fact, yeah, that's great. So obviously what I could do is I could change the elements, placement, etc. But for now, let's get on to look at those interactions. Alright, so just a reminder, what I want to happen is when I click this icon, I want this to appear. When I click it again, I want it to disappear. So the way we do that is I'm going to select this main text box, and we're going to go over to the animations pane up here. So in the ribbon up here, we click on animations, and then we've got to decide how we want this to appear. So for me, it's going to be wipe, and then you can see the text options or effect options here. I would like it to come from the left, so that's what's going to happen now. So if I went to have a look at this, we can have a look in preview up here, but I prefer to go down to the slideshow and look at that. So if I was to click on the screen, now this is a mouse click, it will appear. Obviously we don't want the mouse click, we want it to appear when we click on the question icon. So what we're going to do is we select that, and we can now see it. And what I would also recommend that we do as well when you're working with this is activate the animation pane here. So if we click on that, we can now see the animation pane here. I don't need the format background, so I'm going to get rid of that, and I can work on here. I did a lot of work on the animation pane for these triggers. So what we want is this to appear when we click on this, and so we're going to select it. We've got it selected already, and then we're going to go to the trigger icon there and left click on that, on click of. So what we're going to choose then is oval 10, because that's the first oval that we created. So we're going to make this appear when we click on that. So again, let's go and have a little look. We go down to it, you can see the mouse change from the arrowhead to the hand, click on, and it appears. Perfect. However, every time I click now, it just keeps appearing, which is also not what we want. So what we have to do now, and this is a really important one, often people get confused about, is we select this text box again, or the rectangle again, and we have to make a new animation. So new animation up there, and this time we want it to disappear. I'm not fussed about which way we do it, I'm just going to use a disappear, and then that's going to disappear, but because it's got its one there, that will disappear on the mouse click, and we want it to disappear again on that. So we're going to go back up again, we've got it selected already, we go to trigger, and we're going to go on click of oval 10, and then you can see now that we've got green for appear and red for disappear. It's really important that you get your timings right and your alignments right and your orders right with your appear and disappear. When you build something out which is a little bit more complicated, and we look at that in another video, if we got the disappear appearing ahead of or on top of the green appear clearly, that wouldn't make sense and it wouldn't work. So we'll be clicking and things will be not appearing when they should be and disappearing when they shouldn't be. So that's very, very important to be aware of. Let's just have a look at what this looks like. So click on, appears, click off, disappears, appear, disappear. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to build out exactly the same thing very quickly for humorous. So actually, let's make humorous a little bit bigger first of all. I thought we had done, but it may have just changed there. Okay, good. Right, so now humorous. So we're going to make it appear with a wipe with effect from the left, and it's going to appear on trigger on click of oval 11, which is A. We're going to select it again, we're going to add animation, we're going to make it disappear on trigger of oval 11. Okay, so we've got our triggers. Our triggers are signaled to us by these lightning bolts here. They tell us they're the triggers. We've got the order right with appear and disappear. So let's just have a look. Question, appears, answer, appears. Click again on answer, disappears. Click again on question, disappears. And that's how we create interactive questions using PowerPoint.